Welcome to the Authentic Human Podcast. How are you?
I'm actually, my heart's kind of like racing. Like, even though I feel calm, my body's like, I think
Yeah.
as my mind's like, people are watching. I feel more calm now that I'm speaking to you though.
Oh, good. That's awesome. And it's just us today. It's just us. Nobody's watching. It's not live.
Yeah.
So it'll be later. But yeah, so good. So you reached out and you were drawn to be on the podcast. So tell me a little bit of your story.
Okay, where to start? Um, well, I was still in high school just the end of last year.
Yep.
Like, I've just come out this year, and it feels like it's been years because I feel like so much has changed just in this year. And I think kind of just getting into this space of like wanting to know more truth came about around the end of high school with exams, and my body was like in so much pain. And I just felt like I was like dying because I was getting like certain diagnoses, and I had like kind of anxiety, especially at the time because of school. And I was kind of like, I was finding Bashar's teachings, and I was like, why am I working so hard and doing all of this?
Okay.
Like, what is the point? Like, those sorts of questions were coming up.
Yeah.
And I originally came into this as well with Joe Dispenza, and I wanted to like fix certain things about myself and heal certain things and manifest things. And then kind of certain people that I found this year on YouTube really opened me up to like it's so much deeper than that. And I just wanted to know more about my soul and more about truth and more like embodying love. Like, that's really what it's all about. It's not about manifesting the things, even though that's fun. It's more embodying like your soul's own truth. And I feel like that is love. And
That's amazing.
yeah, I've just become really passionate about that and connecting with other people. And it's just opened me up to so much.
I also, we went back and forth a couple times on email just confirming certain things. And, you're 18 years old. Like this is huge. And I have goosebumps just thinking about it because your perspective, like being able to notice that there was something wrong, that you were
Mhm.
having anxiety and this is wrong, just that knowing is massive. And I think that that perspective alone and you asking and, asking these bigger questions at 18 speaks to not only, where we are as a human race and what's happening and the evolution of humanity, but it speaks to your higher calling, and you so there's so much coming in right away, which is really, really cool. So are you ready? I
I'm
go.
ready. I
Okay,
was just going
awesome.
to say one other thing. I've been
Yeah.
feeling so much energy and vibrations recently. Like, I can feel a lot's changing within me. And um, I felt when I laid down to kind of sit with it, I felt this tingling, tickling all over like my right side of my body.
Oh,
And
that's
like I
cool.
could feel like a presence. And I just kind of wanted to ask you because I've also been getting so much ringing in my ears. I'm like, and sometimes it's usually the right ear, sometimes it's the left. And yeah, there's so
So,
much going
well, and our body speaks to us in so many different ways, right? I mean, we're designed so specifically to be in communication with universal energy. So if you think about your body as like a satellite, and it's constantly picking up signals, but it's also programmed very specifically. Like the right side of our body is the, and I hesitate to use the word because it's a label, but it's typically the masculine side. Now, the masculine doesn't mean it's not the, spiritual divine
Feminine.
masculine, the whole big thing. Masculine energy is the comfort of being who you are. And then the
Mhm.
left side is the feminine, which is the comfort of being in the flow, right? Because both of those aspects create one whole being.
Yeah.
And so when you notice it's on the right or it's on the left, it's being able to pay attention and to recognize, okay, so whatever I'm experiencing right now, it's helping me learn more about being grounded in who I am, or it's helping me learn how to go with the flow, right? Because humans, we've been taught to ignore both of those things. So, right. So it's understanding that as we go through this awakening, that's such like it sounds so simple, and yet it's the simplicity that makes the most profound impacts. And that's where, as humans, it's really tricky because we've been taught the more complicated it is, the more valuable it is.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we go to school, the longer you go to school, the more information you put in your brain, the more valuable you are. That's what we've been taught. And the reality is, all of these things are illusions, right? All humans are valuable. And we all have strengths. We all have a natural contribution that we are facilitating for the entire universe. Whether we're doing it consciously or not, it's still occurring. And as we become more aware of what that is, we have the ability to make more impact. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's why we have that inner need, right? It's this, I need to know what my purpose is. I know I'm meant to be doing something. And
Yeah.
that pull is, it happens for a reason. It happens because it's our soul nudging us, reminding us, okay, it's okay. When those dark nights are there, when those fears are there, when those pains are there, it's reminding us that it's happening for a reason, but the reason is we just can't see that reason yet, right? Like keep
So
going.
much
It's
beyond
there,
what we could even think of.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so you're also in Australia. So it's like morning for me and it's like bedtime for you, right? Close
Yeah.
enough.
I
Yeah.
like the exact same time except switch the AM and
Oh
PM.
my gosh, 12 hours. There we go. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. See, I would be in bed by this time. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, so your soul wants to start with, um, you know, there's a lot of there's a lot of change and there's a lot of upheaval around you right now, particularly as it relates to, yeah, your comfort level with yourself. So, that's your greatest challenge at this moment, at this time, is how do I be comfortable with who I am when I'm living in a world where so many people want to tell me what to do still? It's
Yeah.
tricky, right? It's tricky. And it's understanding and recognizing that you have to you have to sort of weed through who's who's offering the advice and where it's coming from. Okay?
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
let's say it's your parents. Okay?
Mm.
Okay. It's recognizing that their intention comes from a place of love,
Yeah.
even when it
And
doesn't feel like it.
their beliefs are different, even though it's
100%.
coming from a place of, and I see that, but it's like their beliefs aren't aligned with, you know, um,
With where you are.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's okay. Because
Hmm.
if they were, then life would be really boring.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a reason that um, the words I'll use is the chosen one in in your family dynamic, right? It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it certainly means the as humans, this is where humanity is right now, Skye. And I love that you're on this mission for so many reasons, but we're all in this place of, hey, it's like what they're showing me, like 13%, 13, maybe 14% of the human population is aware of the bigger picture, which is a really big number compared to where it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
We were at like 1.5% 5 years ago. Now we're at 13 to 14.
Wow.
That's massive.
Yeah.
So you're one of those 13 to 14. That's amazing. Okay. That means that you are open and you're willing to see things that you haven't been before, but also you're willing to see things outside of the physical rules of the world that has been created for us, right? Okay. And what happens as a result is you raise the vibration every time you choose to see something different. Okay. So there's also this really cool window where people transition, okay? Where they become curious and you'll start to see it. And the reason they're giving you all these steps and stages is so that you understand them. So when you're having conversations with people, you're going to be like, ah, okay, I understand where you are. And now I understand how I can communicate with you. Okay. That's why they're giving you all of this information. Okay. So what happens is as people start to become curious, okay, they will ask bigger questions. And when the bigger answers come, they try to bring the information down into their brain, into the understanding that they have. So they want to take it and they want to bring it and put it into the files in their brain. Well, how does that work? And how does this work? You know exactly. Yeah, you got that. You knew what
It's
I meant.
like so you can stay comfortable within your own beliefs rather than like getting uncomfortable to open up like to more.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
but they're still they're more open than completely shut down, right? So it's good. Then the next phase is understanding and recognition that as higher awareness comes, you have to leave your beliefs behind and you have to move yourself up into those, right? Which means everything that can't go with you has to stay behind. And that's scary, right?
Yeah.
You're in that phase of getting comfortable in that place yourself. And it's not a comfortable place to live, right? And that's why we constantly have questions of, okay, how does this work? How do I shift? How do I move into a more comfortable place? Because we're constantly needing that. It's almost like wanting that support, right, for ourselves. But
Mm.
what they're showing me is, you know, you're coming to this place and you're going to start with your family, and that's another really important aspect is we typically start with family. Why? Because family press our buttons the best, right?
Yeah.
Because they're the closest, they know the buttons to press, and they're not
Yeah.
scared to press them, which is such a gift. And at the time we often think, oh my gosh, seriously, but it is such a gift because we get to climb those mountains, those emotional hurdles with the people that love us most,
Mm.
right? So, what you're really learning how to do is still hold those energies of respect and love and compassion for them, no matter where they are, no matter what their perspectives are, right? And that's tricky. So, yeah, it's going to be like it's going to be really interesting because you're going to start to learn more about your own behaviors, where things that you do came from, right? Especially from your parents. And all of a sudden you're having a conversation and they're saying something and you're like, oh, okay, I see. Because you're going to start to see how you're still carrying similar fears. You just use the fears in different ways. And
Mm.
we often don't want to recognize those things, okay? Yeah. And it's great because I know, you talked about following um some different teachers. I'm not familiar, excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm just getting over the flu. So, mm. But we talked about following different teachers. So I know you're familiar with like looking at your own behaviors, understanding fears and those kinds of things. And um, what they're showing me is you are going to start to notice that you and your mom specifically, you have some similar fears. You just use them in different ways, right?
Mm.
So her intention is to use hers to protect you. And when you start to understand that that's the filter that she's using when she's talking to you, that she's not attacking, her fear is that if you do that, you may get hurt.
Mm.
And she doesn't want you to hurt. She doesn't want you to suffer, right? Because no one wants to see their children suffer, right? And if you think about it, we don't even want to suffer ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So, right. So when really this is it's actually you're in your first really big lesson. And it's all about learning how to have compassion. So compassion is about not needing anyone else in our life to be other than they are,
Mm.
which is a really big lesson, right? It's the most important aspect for the transition and the reawakening of humanity is compassion. And you see where it's working and you see where it's not, right? When people are frustrated with other people that haven't yet seen the bigger picture and they are snide or rude or passive aggressive, there's zero compassion. They haven't gotten it yet. So humanity can't move forward because they haven't gotten it, not because the person over here hasn't seen the bigger picture yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. And I feel like, especially this year, my like level of compassion has increased so much where most of the time it just comes naturally because it's like, well, obviously they've been through this, and like, of course I'm gonna have compassion for that. And when certain people like hit certain buttons, that's when it can be like difficult, but I always come back to just like grounding myself and like especially certain family members, just seeing it from their point of view and their upbringing.
Yeah.
And it's just so much easier to have compassion. And just like every soul's journey, it's like they're just enjoying where they're at, and that's okay. You know,
I
we
do.
don't,
I feel like
no
I'm
one's on
talking
the same
to
path.
yeah, I don't feel like I'm talking to an 18-year-old at all right now. That's just, I just want to reiterate that.
I
You're
don't really
amazing.
feel 18.
No, no, you
I don't
do
really feel
not.
like any age.
Right? It's tricky when you feel trapped in a body where you're like, this does not suit, or it doesn't meet, right? Where energetically I am. But you
Yeah,
also
I
have a
feel like,
big, but you have a big mission. You have
mm,
a big mission here. And that's why you're waking so early and you're on like you were never not awake. So that's the other part is there's been a lot of interesting things that have happened through your childhood, a lot.
before I just thought, before I just thought I was weird or like, you know, not like everyone else, like a black sheep. And now it's like, oh, I'm just, now that I'm on my own and I've kind of like left a lot of friendships. And yeah, when I look back, I'm like, just being in school, I was so different. Like right now, when I'm in my own energy and I've really been having such like a hermit period, and I've left like my job, and I'm like, wow, like I enjoy my own company. Like I enjoy who I am because I'm
Yes.
not being swayed by other people's like beliefs and ideas of how I'm supposed to be. Like I just enjoy me. Like it's so simple when, yeah,
And
you're
it's
not in the school
beautiful. Yep.
environment.
It's it's a relief, isn't it? It's amazing how much of a relief it is. But it's also making sure you're not hiding away. because
No, yeah, that's
you
true.
will have a tendency
I
to do
have to
that. Yep. And you got to push yourself to get out.
get
And
out there.
you do need to find a job. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, but I keep, this is going to sound crazy, but um, with seniors would be an amazing role for you right now. Somewhere where I know this is crazy, but hanging out with seniors because you need human interaction. You need
Mm,
to learn more about compassion, and that will 1000% give you that experience. But they're open. Even though you think they're not open, they're open because they're lonely. And a lot of
mm,
the time, the facilities, right, where seniors are, there's not enough time and energy for extra care. And what I mean by that is, an extra special, just
like genuine
thoughtfulness.
care.
Yes,
Mm.
genuine words, right? And genuine. So I would look into that as a potentially like just a part-time, but you need to get out of the house. You need to
Yeah,
be out
I'm
of your
not gonna lie.
space.
This is throwing me off, but like I feel it. Like I
Yep.
feel where you're coming from because I've been, you know, I was working with a mentor as well, and I've had so many calls with different people who I just like admire and always wanting to kind of like invest myself and put myself in a new position because I know I tend to be like um my family calls it like off with the fairies. Like I like to have all these big dreams and things, but then I kind of like I I bring myself into like my own space and I forget to like venture out.
Well, you
Um
have to balance both, right?
yeah,
If
I
you're going to
do.
make this big impact that you're meant to, there's steps you have to learn. And you can't,
Mm,
right? Because we are given visions and the energy awareness for a reason, right? Like I was 3 years old and I could see hosting, I was in fields with millions of people. And I was like, okay, that I know I'm meant to do this. And I would just be walking through like a 3-year-old child. Like it was normal for me. So I 100% understand the vision. But then it's recognition that as we go through our life, we're learning how to fulfill that vision. And so if you resist, right? Because you already know your vision is about helping humans heal, right? What's healing? Healing is rebalancing. So you have to learn how to do it first because you can't hold that space for anyone if you haven't fully done it. But it also means if you're going to do it for others, you have to learn about every single dynamic in the aspect of love in particular for you that is out of balance. So just think about that for a minute. Okay. We've got 8 billion people on the planet, and almost all of us have had experiences that have brought us out of balance. Well, everyone has had experiences that have brought us out of balance with love. You have
mm.
to learn about all of them. You can't learn about them in your room.
Yeah, so true.
Makes
Yeah.
sense, right?
That's what I've been feeling like even though I was thinking it was like I have to go to more depths within myself, but it's like I have to participate in these experiences to truly learn. And that's why I'm here, not to just sit in my room.
Exactly.
Um,
And as you do them, Skye, as you go out and have the experiences, that's how you go deeper into yourself. You don't have to
mm,
sit and trigger it and think about, okay, what's next? How does it work? It doesn't work that way. Excuse me. As soon as you go out, like they keep showing me senior citizens because you're going to find a level of heart, love, compassion, respect that you are unfamiliar with currently. They're going to teach you how to embody it, but there's others that are going because some of them need it. They don't have any in themselves. And then others have an abundance of it. So you're going to learn about it that way, right? And I think, you can feel it, right? Like that's the biggest aspect of being human is we're here to learn all the time. Like that's literally the intention of the human experience. So we on this side of the human experience, we've been taught once you go to school, you know, and then you just need to go out and assert your authority, right? And that's what life has then looked like. And that's also why no one has fulfillment, right?
Yeah,
Everyone's tired, exhausted because none of us are doing what we're meant to be doing. We're not following our instincts on really our instincts are curiosity of, oh, I want to know more about that. But we don't have time because we're so consumed with everything else that we've gotten ourselves into. So
yeah,
the whole point right now is they're saying seniors hands down are going to be the best teachers for you right now because you don't need to follow gurus and that kind of thing because the wisdom is going to come through your experiences. It's not going to come through your mind. So you can watch videos, but where you're going to learn is through life experience,
yeah,
right? And that's
true.
for everyone, right? So and
Yeah,
you're ready now. You're ready to go out and find the courage because you do have that freedom, right? You don't have that sort of classroom mentality of, okay, well, Skye, you have to do this and this. Yes, a job is still going to have, obviously, there's a requirement. You're getting paid to do something, but it's, I think you'll be surprised. They're showing me there's going to be positions where you're like, oh, I can actually do that. Like I can get paid to do that. That's fantastic. I will absolutely go do that. Um, and not too far in your community, because I think that's where you're going to find you're going to make the most significant difference right now. Okay. Um, and they're saying, you don't have to go out and get a degree to do something right now, right? Like it's not about a personal support worker or anything like that. It's going in a capacity of part-time to fulfill it's almost like companionship, but the role will look a little bit more structured, but ultimately the essence of it is companionship for them. Okay. And
okay.
that's really, I mean, it's a dream job, I mean, yeah, yeah. And you may also find that you're in maybe through the kitchen. So it may be through cooking and food prep. And then all of a sudden, once you're in and you have that job, then you can say, is there anybody who, spends time with these people that comes in and just hangs out with them? And because here's the reality is most of the time, the people that are doing that are volunteering are seniors already, right? They don't have
Yeah,
a lot of volunteers that are in your age group. And those are the ones they want the most because it makes them feel alive. Does that make sense?
yeah. This is so unexpected, but I can feel it, like, it's gonna have to be a new level of compassion because, the belief systems are so different, but I can even feel it with, like, sometimes when my mum phones her mum, like, sometimes I just wanna share so much with her, but I don't know if any of it will, like, um, transfer, but I just want to share because I feel how stuck she is, and I'm like, "There's so much more."
And so compassion is, it's really cool that you say that. So when you become aware of where someone is, you want to go there without judgment, right? So judgment will say there's so much more, you should see it. When you see it, you're going to feel so much better, right? That is still judgment, even though because this is where so many people they have this perspective of I want to help, but their perspective of help is fixing something about someone else. And it's really important to remember that humans are not broken.
Yeah.
We're not
No, I've
broken.
literally said that myself. You're right, it's more like offering a new perspective without having that
Any
needing to, like,
attachment.
change them, just yeah, just offering, like, I don't know, a different vibration, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes, totally. And it's being able to pull back, right? Because most of the time when someone wants to help, what their energy does is it reaches out and it's like picking up that person, right? And it's actually pity energy. And
Mm,
pity says, I don't believe you can do it by yourself. I will help you. And then they wonder why the people come back and go, okay, now I need more help. Now I need more help. Now I need more help because all you've done is teach them to rely on you. That's
yeah.
not helpful at all, right? So and again, for your big, I mean, you have a massive reason for being here. But right now, like they can't because it's not like a job description, right? They don't give you your purpose and say, okay, this is the job description, these are all the rules, these are all the requirements, and these are all the tasks you're going to be doing. It doesn't work that way. We uncover our purpose as we live our life, right? So the experiences that we have, like you're drawn to deep connection with other humans. You're drawn to love and the energy and the vibration of seeing love in all humans and in all things. But you're also drawn to knowing that there's a bigger picture. And so it's recognition that right now you're laying the foundation for the next level of awareness, right? So your job is to participate fully. So what do you need to know? And your soul is saying you need to understand compassion inside and out. I actually, it's funny, I have this sitting here today because normally it's not sitting here, but I just taught a course on it. Uh,
Oh yeah, I got your book.
You did?
I've been
Okay.
reading. I
So,
have it like on Kindle.
oh, I love it. So there's a chapter in here on compassion. I would suggest you read it every day because it will help your brain. So this is why we read it. It's short. It's a short chapter, right? So we have 9 fundamental energies that we're all created with, and we've forgotten them. Okay. So compassion is one of them. The reason that I suggest reading it out loud, okay, every day while you're working on it is so that your brain gets really comfortable looking for it in that space, right? It's like when you play the same song over and over again and you know the lyrics and you even know the notes that are coming, right? Like when the music moves and you know how to move to it. You want to have that same feeling with compassion. You want to know how to move to it, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like you want to put it on and it is like the best fitting outfit that you've ever worn. It goes to every occasion. This is compassion. It goes to every occasion. You never feel overdressed or underdressed. You always feel absolutely comfortable in your own skin. And that's what compassion is. And that's what you're going to be offering every human that you come into contact or connection with. See
I
why
agree.
this lesson is so powerful? Because
Yeah.
love is a balance of compassion and respect. And right now, you're diving deep into compassion. Yeah, makes
Wow.
sense now, right? Yeah, it's huge, right?
Yeah.
So how you
I feel like
feeling?
I didn't realize the depths that compassion really is. Like sometimes when I think I have compassion, but really I'm like feeling sorry for the other person. But that's, it can't go hand in hand like that. Yeah, it's so much deeper.
So much deeper. And the thing with pity, when you feel sorry for someone, okay, we've been trained to feel pity. And pity is
Mm,
the most destructive energy on the planet. It is worse than fear, anger, hate, because pity says, I don't believe you're strong enough to do this.
mm,
And so we don't want to ever wield it, ever. We don't want to use it. We we literally want to use compassion that says, wow, I can only imagine what you're going through. You know, what are you thinking? How do you want to get out of this? How can I help you Where are you thinking that you are? How, like, there's so many questions that we can ask. It's hard to come up with questions when there's not a specific situation for me
Yeah.
because I work so easily and so well with the energy. But it is recognition that, you know, we want to participate with the other human. We don't want to feel bad for them and do it for them,
Mm.
right? And so you're in such a powerful position where you are because you've left the world where you felt unseen, unheard, and almost an abuse of power, right? So you've left that world of the education system and and now you're in this place where I don't have to be treated that way, and I also never want to treat another human that way.
Yeah.
So how can I go out into the world and participate in, having a job and learning about my higher purpose at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And we I think a lot of people get caught up in, I just need to go out and I need to create this business and I need to create this space where people can come and heal and do all these things. And it's important too, but we have to learn
Mm.
and we
Yeah,
have
that's
to,
exactly what I've been, yeah, sorry, feeling recently. It's like that's why I can feel such like a gap or a bridge between like this and then whatever that is that I'm gonna be like creating and moving towards,
yeah,
because there's so much more to experience to really offer that to others.
100%. And
And something else, sorry, I was
no,
gonna
it's
ask,
so good.
recently I did kind of a session that was similar to this, and a lot came through with like aspects of my soul from different experiences, which was so like emotional. And also that there would be like a creative project coming along in, I think, a couple of months. And I wonder, like, can that still go hand in hand with me
It has
doing
to
the senior job?
because, well, that's what
Because I was
happens,
excited
right?
about that. And so, yeah,
I couldn't do what I do if I wasn't learning every day,
yeah,
right? So when I'm in connection with you, I'm learning. I'm learning more about humanity. I'm learning more about you as a soul, which helps me understand because every human I've ever connected and communicated with and their soul, it helps me understand soul communication better. It helps me understand human nature better. And it helps me understand my purpose and my reason for being better. Make sense?
yeah,
I had 25, 30 years. My first job when I was 14, all the way through, all my jobs were all about customer service. I didn't know. I didn't know I just happened to be in customer service. It's just where I always was skilled and where I thrived. It turns out my whole world is about customer service,
yeah,
right? So it's recognition that in doing what you're doing in your job, it will infuse inspiration for your life's work. So the creativity is constantly coming in, right?
yeah,
Every job I would have, I would be like, oh, okay, I can do this better. But sometimes it would be creativity like way over, like creating so many different things like communities in my brain, and right? And I'd spend hours and hours just feeding more energy into it without even recognizing that as a child, I was having all these conversations with the universe and all these universal beings, right? About these communities and how it was going to, how we're meant to be living. And, you know, but you naturally, they just happen. So, yes, the answer to your question is 100%. Two things can happen simultaneously. In fact, more than that, because you're also going to find new friendships are going to come in because you're being
yeah,
more authentic to who you are, right? New friendships and potentially also a relationship is coming. Um, yeah. And that's, yeah, yeah. But as friendship first, because that's what you're looking for. That's where you are. That's what you're, and it's getting grounded in recognition that you're participating in discovering who you are. And so what happens is those are the types of people you're going to start to connect with. But you have to get out in the world to do that, Skye. You can't be, being comfortable with um, your own company is phenomenal. But it's also well, I didn't get comfortable with my own company until I was about 30. Um,
Staying comfortable with that whilst I'm with other people as well.
yep,
Because,
it's
yeah,
an
I can
art.
notice myself like,
Yep,
starting to change, and then I'm like, no, I
be me still.
have to be me in
Yeah.
every.
And that's why seniors are going to help you the most because they have the least amount of judgment and and yet even those that sound like they're the harsh judgment, they still want to know who you are. They're
Yeah.
actually curious to know who you are. They'll ask you questions about yourself, which is different than everybody else because everyone else is too busy, right?
Mm,
They're too busy trying to make sure that they get this done, and this done, and they're home by this time so they can get all these other things done.
mm.
Whereas seniors, they got time. They're the best humans to hang out with to get comfortable with yourself around other humans, hands
Yeah.
down. And listen to them, listen to their stories, ask them questions about themselves, because that will teach you compassion in how you listen. You'll hear it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I'm actually quite excited about this now.
Yeah, yeah. It's It's like they're showing me it's going to pick you up, dip you into compassion. It's like it's like dipping a candle almost, right? And you're going to become a different person through that experience. And the transformation is going to be massive because you're going to find more self-confidence and you're going to get even more comfortable with who you are, which is going to give you the courage then to go further into places where you're not comfortable going right now. Because right now there's a whole bunch of other people who have opinions and you're like, yeah, right? And your brain is still looking at that as competition. So you need to find your own space, your own voice. And that's why seniors are going to be such a massive help for you because they are willing to listen and they're genuinely interested. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm like, what is going on? This is so unexpected, but I'm really, yeah, I like that
Well,
because I feel
you
there's
needed
so
a
much.
tangible step. You needed a
Yeah.
tangible step to literally go, okay, what do I do now? And that's really what you were coming here for. Like energetically, that's what your soul's saying. Like that's why you came here today was to get this tangible step so you could move forward without wondering what you were doing because there's also in your brain there's this worry of but I know this is my purpose, you know, should I not be working on that? You are working on that.
Mm,
That's the whole point. And you needed to understand that all the pieces are working on that, even when it doesn't seem that they're working on that, right?
yeah.
Even the conversations with your mother and your grandmother, you know, those are also working on it, whether you say something or you don't. But your conversations with seniors are going to help you communicate with your parents better as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's quite powerful. You're so ready for all of this, but you're ready to go out into the world and, you know, right now, you know, what they're showing me is you're looking for a safe place and it's a safe place to be yourself. And what they're saying is you're going to discover that the whole world is safe when you're authentically you.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been like my deepest, like, just wanting to be so embodied in like just me that nothing can, you know, affect that. Like it just radiates, you know.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And that's when you're just like infinitely comfortable because well, comfortable within who you are
Yep.
because you know that and like you honor that and yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And it's still learning all the time, right?
yeah.
That will never end. It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you. This was
Thank you.
wonderful. I'm so grateful that you reached out and that we got to do this because it's been wonderful. Thank you. I hope you'll let us know how you're doing and what direction your life takes from this point and let us know, please.
Can I ask another question
You
actually?
can,
More
absolutely.
about existence, but the soul that like the souls that we are now, will I always be this soul?
Hmm.
Like or always?
Always.
And same with the universe that we're in. Will we always be in this universe?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yes. So there's different universes, but we were created to explore in this universe. So you can go to other universes. They're not really. So this one is the one that has the most dynamic aspects of existence. So all other universes have one aspect of existence. So they'll have either judgment or love or hate or anger or, but one thing. This is the first universe in existence that the only rule is free will. So yeah, anything is possible. And he created human souls for, well, gosh, we would have to go into the history of existence, which we it's not really. I mean, gosh, I've got 20 years of
I
exploring
mean, I read
under.
the beginning of your book
Yeah,
talking about the whole, which I was like, wow, like I really felt it
yeah,
as I was reading. It just like things like click into place. It makes
right.
so much sense.
I love that. But yes, you'll always be this soul because it's who you are. It's your energetic footprint in the universe. So it will never change. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that's why I've been really drawn to these out of body experiences. This guy who can teaches them doing them controlled,
Yes.
um, because I just want to feel into like my soul, other experiences I've had, and like what that essence is,
Yes.
beyond the conditioning, and
But
like
it's
bringing that.
remembering that you have access to all that awareness at the drop of a pin, like instant. You just have to feel it. It's in you. I mean, it's fun to go back. I've done them, all kinds of different things, right? I go and I travel and they're awesome. But it's remembering that there's a reason you're so interested is because you want that information. You want to have access. And
Yeah,
it's also that's instinctual because we are created to have instant access to all that awareness. So as you discover more of who you are, right, go through this compassion journey, what's going to happen is you're going to have more strength, more awareness, and your ability to communicate through energy, okay, and through vibration will grow. Yeah, I mean, trying to put 20 years into like whoop, one little answer is tricky. But we do a lot, Skye. If you are interested in exploring more of the universe, we have a community. Um, it's called the Authentic Human Collective, and we meet on Wednesday nights. Now, I know that would be Wednesday morning for you. It's 8 in the morning, but you can
that's
also
all good.
do, yeah, and the recordings are good. Um, but we talk about all kinds of things. We explore the universe. We do everything, every concept of everything, and people bring questions, and sometimes it's just universal beings that show up. So if that is of interest, then I would suggest joining us and getting in there. And we just have so much fun. And it's nice to hang out with a bunch of humans from all over the world,
Yeah, I
right?
love that.
That all want to know more about the universe. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Oh, I love that. I would definitely join that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, look into it. We start uh, Wednesday, September 11th this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It starts, but you can go back because at the moment you join, you have access. So we've already done 3 years of explorations. So you would have all those videos. There's like 200 hours of videos in there already of explorations. Yeah.
Wow. Mhm.
So it's all in there and I mean, everything you could ever want to know about anything is all in there. Yeah. So it's fun.
I feel like I had so many more questions, but they've all kind of um, like I have so many questions about just existence, and I feel like as soon as I'm like in the zone, they just leave me.
Well, and
Um,
that happens too for a reason, right? Because
yeah, that's
sometimes
true.
when we get, when we receive what we needed to hear, our energy quiets and it
Yeah.
comes to this place of surrender, of, ah,
Mm.
it's, it's this awe almost of, I got what I needed, it's this, yeah. And anytime. Honestly, the community is a great place because we also, when you join that one, you also have, there's an uncensored community where you can ask all kinds of questions and nobody's going to say, you can't use that word. It's all right. So you get that as well. And you can ask all your questions in there. And then not only are you going to get, from me answering, you'll get also our entire community will be giving you feedback and their perspectives. And yeah, it's really it's an amazing community. So yeah, you might enjoy that one.
I'd love to join.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much, Skye. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will talk to you soon. Let us know how you're doing.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this conversation, learned something, or received any benefit that you believe will improve your life, subscribe to our channel so I can serve you better by attracting unique guests and starting even bigger conversations. If you know you're meant to change the world, head on over to michellevickers.com, where innovators and thought leaders go for guidance, wisdom, inside information, and support they can trust. Until next time, stay curious.